Once again, it's time to see who's hot and who's not as we take a look around the majors. Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Matchup, presented, of course, by Levitra on CBSSports.com. I'm Amber Wilson. Last week, we focused on the exploits of the sizzling Chase Utley as he embarked on a string of 5 straight games with home runs. Now, our attention turns to Florida's young phenom, Hanley Ramirez. Though unlikely if Ramirez continues on his current torrid pace, he could be flirting with the 50-50 club come September. Ramirez has hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games with 5 homers and 9 RBI. But even when he doesn't have the power numbers, he is always capable of swiping a base. The 24-year-old shortstop is 4th in the majors with 9 stolen bases and has had 51 in each of the previous 2 seasons. Houston's Lance Berkman is your NL Player of the Week after batting .455 and leading the league with 4 homers and 12 RBI. He edged out Cincinnati's Brandon Phillips, who just a week ago was on our Who's Not list. Phillips was taken out of the starting lineup last Friday, but came off the bench to blast a pinch hit home run. He followed up that effort with a pair of 3 RBI games, including 2 homers on Sunday versus the Giants. And you'd have a hard time finding a pitcher who's hotter than Brandon Webb right now. Webb has won all 6 of his starts so far this young season and sports a 1.98 ERA with 34 strikeouts. He is the #1 ranked pitcher in all of CBSSports.com fantasy leagues. 3 young arms that are also heating up belong to James Shields, Tim Lincecum, and Edinson Volquez. Each member of the trio has won his last 2 starts. Shields' most recent outing was a 2-hit shutout against a loaded Red Sox lineup. Lincecum has pitched 16 1/3 scoreless innings, while Volquez has struck out 17 in his 2 trips to the Hill. The Big Apple has 2 big closers, and both have been very impressive in April. Billy Wagner atop the equivalent of a no-hitter, not allowing a hit until Matt Diaz's single on Sunday. He still does have a shutout going over his 10 innings of work. Across town, Mariano Rivera has been almost perfect with an unblemished ERA and 8 saves in as many opportunities. It's time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll flip the coin to see who's not so hot around the majors. Welcome back as we zero in on a few players who could use a break from fantasy lineups to think about their subpar performances. Yankees second baseman Robinson Cano makes his 2nd straight showing on our not-so-hot list. Cano has just 2 hits in his last 21 plate appearances, seeing his average dip even further to a paltry 153. Keep in mind, however, that Cano struggled early last season before heating up for good, making him the ideal buy low candidate. In Monday's Fantasy Baseball, we speculated that Giant southpaw Barry Zito might be vanquished to the bullpen because of his April swoon. Well, just 24 hours later, the pen is exactly where Zito is headed. The $126 million man has lost all 6 of his starts this year and was shelled to the tune of a 7.53 ERA. Because of off days, San Fran won't need a 5th starter until May 10th and will go with a 4-man rotation until then. Another prominent lefty was also recently demoted, but Francisco Liriano's departure from the rotation will take him a lot further than the bullpen. Liriano was demoted back to the minors after failing to make it out of the 1st inning in his last start against Oakland. Liriano was hit hard and wild since his return to the majors in mid-April, going 0-3 with a hefty ERA of almost 12 and a whip hovering around nearly 3. Also in need of a shot in the arm, his left one in particular, is veteran southpaw Kenny Rogers. Rogers went just 3 1/3 his last time out as he gave up 6 runs on 9 hits to the Rangers. And with his next start coming against the Yankees, it would be wise to keep him on your bench for the time being. That'll do it for this week's fantasy matchup. Keep your mouse right here at CBSSports.com. And if you missed anything here today, stop, refresh, and rewatch. I'm Amber Wilson, and thanks for joining me.